Hello, my name is Samuel, and in this video, I'll be walking you guys through a social networking platform I developed. Uh, so, one of the things is once a user logs in, um, we have the landing page here, or the user's feed or timeline, um, where they get to see the most recent posts from the community. You can see here the activity feed, um, including a posting form here. So there are different kind of posts a user can make. They can schedule a post. They can select their data. They can select their mood. They can select their location here. Okay, and so much more. They can upload an image. Okay, they can upload an audio. This part here is quite interesting because there's audio processing that's happening in the background there. With the audio sync is to the video here. They can make a post using a custom background there. They can create a poll, yeah, upload a file, attach a file, use a GIF there, and just a plain text kind of post. So there are different kind of posts that a user can make there, right? So that becomes the user activity with the comment section there, as well as the reactions to the post, right? With the different reactions that a user can make. You can follow the post here to get notifications on the post, or you can save the post for later, right? And if you are the creator of the post, you can delete, edit, reshare, and so much more. Okay, you can see an embedded video there. You can see an example of a poll there, right? You can see an example of an uploaded video and audio here, right? So some of the things that you can see on the platform there, yeah, and so much more, right? On the left panel here, you get your sidebar with some navigations to different features, and on the left here, on the left we had the sidebar, and on the right we have latest members who had logged in, community hashtags, right? So for this one, if you click on a hashtag, you can see all the posts that have been made with this hashtag, right, on your feed. And then you can see the online members who are online at the moment, latest photos, and popular posts from groups, as well as events that have been posted in the community. Yeah, so the activity feed basically functions as the central event stream of the platform, right? Aggregating user actions into like a chronological timeline where users can publish content, interact through threaded conversations, so which, by the way, are made possible via asynchronous loading of posts, nested comment threads, multimedia attachments, and event-driven notifications. As you can see here, we have this notification here, right? For example, here, this is getting a notification of a post to a community that they're part of a group, right? If they had any messages, they'd be able to see that here. If they had any friend requests, they'd be able to see that there as well, right? So yeah, they get private messaging, real-time notifications, and chat threads, right? For example, you can see here, this is a message, private message received by a user, and they would have their thread in here, right? So once you click on your notification here and you find that you have a new message, right? Once you click on view all the messages, you land here and you get to see all the people who have directly messaged you here, and then you have a thread here of all the messages. All right, so this allows direct communication between users, and with a notification to alert users when they receive messages, right? And then we have the groups. For example, here we have a particular group currently with 4 members. If this is the user admin, you can at the group admin, you can invite users, and you can see your members here, right? You can get to see details of the group by toggling this part right here. All right, and then here are some of the posts that have been made on the group recently, and the people notifications or timeline notifications here of people who have recently joined the group as well. Yeah, so we have those groups there. We have settings. You can configure the group. You can either block ban users members by going to this panel here, and settings, maybe configure the kind of post you allow, and maybe configure moderators and things of that nature, right? So groups, and you can get to see your profile here, your about. You can curate your own blog here. You can see your followers, your friends, and the groups that you're a part of, right? As well as get to manage any events you've created, ideas, files that you have uploaded to the platform, audio, photos, and so much more. Stream here is more or less the timeline, right? Your posts, right? So we have groups. We also have pages here. So groups and pages allow the communities, to be segmented into focused spaces where users can collaborate around specific ideas and topics, right? So this is an example of a page here. You can invite someone to the page, as well as just regularly post, right? Manage photos, files, audio related to that group as well. So each community has its own activity stream, membership management, media sharing, right? File sharing, ideas board, and you can as well create ads, right, within those groups, right, and pages. So those modules extend the platform, just beyond just a social interaction platform into like a collaboration, platform and a knowledge hub. It also supports marketplace functionality. For example, file sharing, idea systems for feedback collection, classifieds for community marketplace activity, right? We also have engagement, right, badges, right, and point awarding, for example, which also includes gamification of the points awarded. So for example, once a user accumulates a certain number of points, they can use it to shop on the platform, right? So you can see here some of the things that you can shop for. So it's gamified in the sense that every time a user interacts on the platform, for example, posts something, posts an ad, posts an idea, that leads to a accruement of certain points, right? So that encourages engagement by rewarding participation and tracking user contribution, right? So provides for achievement recognition, participation scoring, and community reputation. And then of course we have the commerce layer here, right? Product, shop, transactions, right? And so much more. We have ads. Users can post ads, users can post events, users can post courses, and so much more. So the platform integrates multiple technologies and services to deliver a full community ecosystem. One of the core features was, for example, video and audio processing, right? Whenever a user posts a video, right, or an audio like this, right, the audio is processed, right, by FFmpeg on the backend, right? So video transcoding, thumbnail generation, standardization, right? So this ensures that videos are and audios are converted into a web optimized formats, right, for playback across different browsers. Then you have the community integrations, right, gamification, marketplace, community and collaboration, right, all specialized modules within the platform. We have external integrations, so the architecture supports integration with additional services, right? E-commerce, LMS, right, for the courses, and advertising systems, right? So for example, when a user posts an ad, occasionally any user who logs into the platform will get to see the ad showing at some point, right, in the feed, right? So yeah, so some of the challenges I saw during the development of this project, right, is media processing, right? The media processing pipeline, handling video uploads and ensuring compatibility across browsers, right? So implemented FFmpeg, right? A processing pipeline, right? So it converts uploaded videos into standardized formats and generates thumbnails, right? We also have the asynchronous feed loading, right? as you can see here, right? You can see the content loading. I don't know if it's visible, but there's a UI preloader here and the content loading, right? So loading large activity feeds without slowing down user interface, right? So one of the ways I implemented that or solve that problem, right, is to use, Ajax requests, right? So the feed loads incrementally instead of refreshing the entire page, right? So as you can see, as you scroll down, the content just keeps loading in, right? And then you have, of course, have the notification here, right? A challenge that was keeping users informed, right, about activity across multiple features, right? Messages, comments, friend requests. So I implemented a notification system that listens for platform events and generates alerts real time, right? I also implemented modular feature architecture. So the platform, as you can see, required multiple subsystems, messaging, events, marketplace, and collaboration tools. So I designed the systems with modular components, right, allowing features to be enabled or extended without affecting the core system, right? Also, scalability was something that I considered, right? So supporting multiple interaction types, right? Posts, messages, groups, while maintaining performance, right? So I optimized some of the data structures for activity streams and implemented incremental loading for large data sets, right? So you can see here some of the other posts now loading, and the page has not reloaded. So Ajax loading the content, right? So of course, this did not come without its own system design challenges, right? So the problem the system solves is to provide us a hosted social platform. That was the intention, where users can communicate, share media, organize communities, collaborate through structured interactions, right? Posts, events, marketplace listings. So the platform needed to support social interactions, real-time communication, community organization, groups and pages, content sharing, files, videos, photos, engagement mechanics, badges, points, collaboration, right? Ideas, monetization capabilities, right? Shops and ads. So essentially, it behaves like a private social network ecosystem, right? So on a high level, some of the system components, can be broken down into 5 primary size subsystems, right? So there's identity and access management, right? This is I was handling user authentication, profile management, permission control, privacy settings. So users authenticate and receive a session that allows them to interact with the rest of the platform, right? So some of the core entities were, the user, profile, permission, settings, right? And then of course we had the social activity engine, right? This basically is the core interaction engine, right? So every interaction generates like an activity object, right? So post created, comment added, reaction added, photo uploaded, video posted. So these activities are stored and rendered in the activity feed timeline, right? And then of course you have the feed behavior. The feed aggregates, user posts, group posts, page posts, media uploads, events. So the timeline is chronological and asynchronously loaded, right? For the communication system, it handles direct communication between users, right? So for example here, okay, if I was on this page and received a new message from this individual, I would see it immediately, right? So we have conversation component, messaging, participants, attachments. So messages are retrieved through an asynchronous request cycle, right? So the system also triggers notifications when new messages arrive, right? Okay, so you have the communication layer as well, right? The subsystem enables segmented communities, right? Groups, pages, events, members, role. Each community space has its own activity stream, member management, shared content, right? And the platform allows for scaling, right? To scale socially by separating discussions into smaller focused communities, right? We have content and media processing. So the system supports photos, videos, files, documents, right? And the pipeline is for every video upload or photo uploaded, right? You upload, then goes into temporary storage, then FFmpeg processing, then you get an optimized media, and then that is delivered back to the UI. So FFmpeg converts uploaded videos into formats suitable for browser playback and generates thumbnails. So I want to discuss also the database design just conceptually, right? We have the user domain, right? So the platform stores structured data across several, logical domains, right? So we have the user domain, users, user profile, user metadata, right? Activity domain, we have, or entities, we have the activities, activity comments, activity reactions, activity media. Messaging domain, we have conversations, messages, message participants. Community domain, groups, group members, pages, events. Engagement domain, badges, user badges, points, user points. And then we have event-driven interaction between models in the database. So most of the features on the platform rely on event triggers. So for example, if a user posts a message goes in, activity is created, notification is generated, followers see an update in the feed, right? So this event-based model allows features like notifications, badges, points, analytics to react automatically to user actions. Some of the performance considerations when building the platform, right? You can tell performance is critical for a platform like this one, right? So for example, I had considered feed optimization, right? The activity feed is optimized using pagination, lazy loading, asynchronous requests. So this prevents loading thousands of records at once, right? Rate limiting, and then of course we have media handling. Large media files are processed through a pipeline that compresses videos, generates thumbnails, stores optimized formats. So this reduces bandwidth usage. Then of course we have the modular architecture. Each subsystem is modular. Example: messaging module, gamification module, marketplace module, events module, right? And so on and so forth. So this allows features to be extended or replaced without rewriting the entire system. Some of the security considerations: access control, right? Authorization, users can control visibility of profiles, posts, groups, files, right? Input validation, all users must be sanitized to prevent cross-site scripting attacks, SQL attack, injection, malicious uploads. I also had to consider file type validation, size limits, server processing checks. Scalability strategy, right? As the platform grows, scaling strategies include horizontal scaling, separate services such as media storage, database, and web servers. CDN integration, so media assets can be delivered through a CDN to reduce server load cost. Caching, right? Caching like the activity feed queries, user profiles, and popular content. So this project demonstrates design of modular community platform that combines social networking, communication system, media processing, collaboration tools, gamification, commerce capabilities into a single architecture. So the system was designed around an event-driven activity model, allowing multiple subsystems such as notification, gamification, and messaging to react dynamically to user interaction. So by structuring the platform around independent modules and asynchronous interactions, the system can scale to support large communities while maintaining responsiveness. So the platform provides a scalable foundation to build large online communities. Thank you very much.